Hello, everyone. This is Ari Moshe Wolf of Heart and Soul-Centered Astrology, and I'm here with my friend Martha Hines, and we're going to come together here to offer an overview of this weekend's lunar eclipse through the 12 houses. So, Martha, do you want to start us off with introducing how you understand the core theme of this eclipse weekend?
Yeah, so I personally have felt called to start dropping into this lunar eclipse with the new moon that happened at 0 degrees of Virgo, because of course that's the beginning of the lunar cycle that culminates with the full moon, which is where the lunar eclipse is this weekend. And and then when I bring in that new moon that was at 0 degrees of Virgo, what I then also get called to is the solar eclipse, which is actually the ending of this lunar cycle and the beginning of the next lunar cycle, which is at
Hmm.
29 degrees of Virgo, right? So those two new moons really sandwich the lunar eclipse with one new moon at 0 degrees of Virgo, and then the other new moon, which is the solar eclipse at 29 degrees of Virgo.
Here, let me
So,
share it so everyone can
yeah,
follow this. So,
yeah.
you're referencing the new moon that just happened.
Hmm.
Okay, so this is like loosely August 23rd or something like that,
Yeah.
right?
22nd, 23rd, yeah.
Okay, so that happened at, wow, that happened at 0 degrees. Okay. Very, very new Virgo. Okay.
Yeah.
And now we have this weekend, 2 weeks later, the full moon. That will be over here at 15 or 16 degrees or so.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you mentioned the third new moon in Virgo. So
Yeah.
that's kind of rare
Yep.
that there's two new moons in the same sign. So this is happening at what degree? 29 degrees?
And yeah.
So at the very end of this month, we're going to have another eclipse, a solar eclipse. Wow.
Hmm.
At the very end of Virgo. Okay, so I just want to share that with everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. And one key thing about the original new moon at 0 degrees of Virgo was that it was also squaring Uranus. And then a really key thing about the solar eclipse, the second one, the 29 degrees of Virgo one, is that the new moon is almost exactly opposite Saturn, who has now moved back into Pisces and is at what, 28 degrees, I think, of Pisces at the time of the solar eclipse. So,
Let me just highlight that. So we have this new moon right here that was squaring Uranus.
mhm,
Okay, right here at 1 degree.
mhm.
And what was the second thing that you just said?
The solar eclipse new moon, the 29-degree one, is
Yeah.
almost exactly opposite Saturn in Pisces, September 21st.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, right? So, and then
Saturn and Neptune. Yeah.
yeah, exactly, not too far from Neptune, exactly. So for me, when I have dropped into this, and of course there's, infinite possibilities, but the narrative that's really arisen for me for a lot of people is that this whole eclipse season feels to me like it's giving us an opportunity to really drop into that Virgo energy, that Virgo self. Because again, the South Node is in Virgo, right? So it's like all of this energetic of who are we as Virgo beings. We all are Virgo. We all are all the signs. So that aspect of us, whatever it is that's we associate with Virgo, maybe for a lot of us as ourselves as healers, ourselves as seers, ourselves as quote unquote witches in some way or temple keepers, all that kind of these spiritual gifts that we are, especially beings, gifts of ourselves as beings of earth and spirit as one, which I think a lot of us identify with in various different ways. The new moon at 0 degrees of Virgo to me felt like it was an opportunity for us to really to remember that part of us, right? To kind of get almost like a tap on the shoulder or a tap on the soul. Hey, this is you. This is me, as this Virgo healer being in whatever way that is true for each of us. And then the thing is, that part of us is number one, very, very needed on the planet right now, and we have all kinds of trauma, all kinds of associations, from this lifetime, other lifetimes, with that Virgo energy, fear-based patterns that maybe arise when we get tapped on that shoulder of, oh, here's my Virgo self, right? So maybe we have past lives where we're burned at the stake for being a healer or whatever it is. And so then what I feel like with this lunar eclipse in the middle of those two new moons is then here we are in the middle of that with the opportunity to do radical forgiving, radical letting go, and really, in a sense, hand it back to, if you want to say God or the divine, or one way I've been really feeling it is my guides have been saying, remember yourself as a holder, a space holder for the infinite possibilities of existence, right? Like just let it go. So part of, and I'm sure you'll speak to this too, is that I think part of the thing, the energy of Virgo that we're remembering to let go of is the sense that, yeah, that there's one mental way to be conceiving of things, or there's a right way, or maybe we've had this sense that we're not good enough, that all of that kind of energy. And so this lunar eclipse to me is this amazing opportunity to radically let it go. Right. And then there's more there with, yeah, other things, but a pause because, yeah.
So I love what you're speaking to, bringing forward not just the Virgo, there are things to do, but they're actual healing gifts. Like we've had these functions, and many of us karmically, that South Node does bring in a lot of stuff from the past. So we have all of our collective
Yeah.
Virgo past that's coming through the portal of this eclipse.
Yeah.
Healers, different skills, different ways in which we've been showing up to offer our gifts, and all the setbacks that happened with Virgo. And I'll just repeat some of the things that you highlighted. So the new moon that happened in August was squaring Uranus, right? And then the new moon that's happening, the solar eclipse new moon that's happening at the end of September is opposite Saturn, Neptune. So these are very existential, deep, right? And in the middle of that is this coming up lunar eclipse, highlighting the Pisces North Node. So I can see you're speaking to where there may have been all these setbacks or difficulties with being persecuted or not being good enough or being conditioned by, I often think of the strong Judeo-Christian conditioning when I think of the Virgo Pisces axis, especially if you put Saturn in there. Man, I'm not good enough, or I'm doing it wrong, or I'm not pure enough, or I'm not ready yet. So I can really connect with this Pisces lunar eclipse as an opportunity to face where we might be somewhat stuck in that Virgo, I can't do it. Like I can't heal this condition. I'm not safe. I'm not ready. I'm not good enough. I won't be able to complete it. All the different neuroses that we can hold on to with Virgo, and to let go and to surrender. So that Pisces North Node invites us to acknowledge we don't have to be healed. Like we don't have to be resolved. We don't have to have worked out all of our dilemmas. And I think that's a part of the humility of Pisces relative to Virgo itself. We actually can't. Like we can't fixate on a problem long enough to solve the problem. There's a way in which we have to allow for something greater than our limited perception to be more true than the story that we fixated on.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing just to add to that is I think I feel like, or at least what my guides say is um, that those Virgo gifts are amazing, right? And the world needs them so badly.
Mm.
And because of those negative experiences we've had, we are now often scared to bring them forward, or we think they need to be perfect before we bring them forward, or we
Yeah.
get in a loop of like redoing the thing over and over again before we're going to show it to the world because XYZ, right? And then we're stuck. And then the world doesn't get to have the thing that it needs from us. It's like, whoa. So then what the spirit world says to me is stop. Stop doing this, and we're going to support you with this North Node in Pisces, Saturn in Pisces, this full moon in Pisces on the North Node, and Nessus actually also, let's the buck stops here, Nessus. Let's really radically take responsibility for letting the heck go of all of that patterning that is just not, it's not helpful anymore, right? Um, yes.
I'm so taken by this idea of holding space for the infinite possibilities of creation, me
Mm.
letting something greater than our understanding to prevail beyond the limits of our own perception. The 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 struggle with all of this strong Virgo energy isn't just that, there's more to develop, there's more to grow, there's more to refine. We get so identified with this story or this idea that validates our victimization, our stuckness, our smallness, our inferiority, why we can't improve our conditions, why our conditions are the way they are. Yeah, I had this recent, deep, really authentic realization around every story I have around every problem that I have has been unhelpful in the sense that if it's a helpful story, it would help me get out of the problem. Most of
Yes.
the stories that we tell ourselves just reaffirm that which keeps us in the same dilemmas over and over and over again. So there's a deep principle of faith here that I want to hold as a prayer for all of us watching and as we move into this eclipse window to trust in what we don't understand more than what we do understand. I think Pisces teaches that all of the circumstances of our life can be guided and taken under the control of the divine to lead towards its resolution, which means we'll be, you mentioned Saturn. I mentioned this in my last video. It's fascinating. The new moon at the end of this month, the solar eclipse will be in a very tight opposition, very tight to Saturn and Neptune. So I want to repeat something that I shared. As we surrender and kind of give the path over, it doesn't mean we're passive. It means we'll allow life to kind of create the circumstances and bring us to the experiences where we're going to have to develop parts of ourselves and we can trust it. It's like we're not smart enough to build our own curriculum. So this journey of surrender is allowing us, Saturn and Pisces, to learn how to integrate and crystallize a higher vibration, a higher consciousness of love in our actions, how we actually behave here as human beings, living more concretely and consistently as the love that we are. And that Virgo is like, and here's a mess. Here's a whole lot of stuff that's hard. And Saturn and Pisces, like, how do I be an angelic, pure, loving being in the midst of all of this? And the point is, try. Let's keep on working at it. And let go of trying to make it perfect. Because if you already were good at this, it wouldn't be a curriculum. It wouldn't be an experience that was given to you. So there's so much refinement and trusting and allowing. And it's not just a passive allowing. And I think there's a real active, we're really working on ourselves during this month. We're stepping into a more forgiven mind, but we're really working on, okay, here's where I can improve my behavior. Here's where I can show up for this place where I'm afraid or stressed or I have too much control. And I can learn a different way. It feels very dynamic. I'll just share one thing. This is coinciding with the month of Elul, which is always sort of like a Virgo archetype in the Hebrew calendar, which is known as the month of, as per Virgo, just a lot of deep inventory. So I think it's meaningful that these eclipses are happening this year deeply. It's a very Virgo-esque season during the month of Elul. The month is a lunar month, so it literally starts on the new moon, it ends on the new moon. So this entire month of Elul is bookmarked by these eclipses. And then it ends with Rosh Hashanah, the beginning of the new year.
Wow. I have can I say two things? So yeah, I'll just say this lunar eclipse lines up with my chart like crazy. Okay. So the sun is basically on my moon and my ascendant, and the moon is going to be on my sun, like really on
Okay,
my sun. And
Pisces.
yeah, so I'm feeling what you're describing very intensely myself. And part of the way I would describe it is that um I think this is the potential is here for all of us to maybe do this in our own way. But the way I'm personally feeling it is like the spirit world is giving me kind of, I want to call it an ultimatum. It's not really an ultimatum, but they're saying now, now. So it's like they've gathered together all the karmic patterns of my own being that just aren't serving anymore. And they are adamant that it is time to let the heck go of that stuff. Not that it's going to be all perfect after this or something, but it's like you're saying, it that Saturn element feels really, really present for me. It's like I have to take it's taking so much concentration. It's like this daily, moment by moment, almost mantra deep in myself over and over and over again. Okay, wait, I just noticed I doubted myself in this way or
Mhm.
whatever it
Mhm.
was, right? And I go, okay, phew. Like, all right, I got it. This is my task right now, right? More than ever in my whole entire life. Literally, it's like they're like, you need to be done because if
Mhm.
you continue on, this is what they're saying to me. If you continue on with that self-doubt stuff, you literally can't be the light we need you to be now, like right now, right? So, like the world is missing out because if you don't let go of those patterns.
Mhm.
So that's number one. The other thing I just want to throw in here is this morning I had the most amazing conversation with Jude Currivan, and I highly recommend anybody and everybody who feels called go to my YouTube channel and watch this interview because Jude, if people are not familiar with her, she is a cosmologist. She's a Oxford trained quantum physicist, and she's a spiritual visionary, world leader. Okay, she's amazing. And one of the things she talked about in our conversation this morning is actually the science of light. And so we were talking about this this concept that you know like for me in my praying and for a lot of us we know, okay, I am the light, I want to be the light, I'm here to be the light, da 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 da. But there's this, for me at least, been this um kind of illusory sense that there's a difference between myself as earth and myself as light, right? Like that my body is one thing and then I have my light is inside of my body or something. So what my guides have been really trying to get through to me is no, no, no. We need you to be the light, but we need you to remember and really get it in your body that your body, every single cell of your body is made from light, literally, because all of the elements of the periodic table, other than hydrogen and helium, are literally, they come from the nuclear fusion within stars. Okay. So Jude gave a way
That's
more.
cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. So she gave a way more in-depth explanation of the science behind this. But what bottom line, what she said is right that light light does not contain mass. Okay, I can't. People need to go to the video to really hear her say this. But the bottom line, she's saying, if you take any sense of our form, like our bodies, and you go down layer by layer through the science of what we really, really are, the ultimate bottom line always is we are light, like literally on a scientific level, right? So this concept of ourself letting go into the Piscean North Node, all that is, a divine intelligence on that Piscean sense is not a dissociative or separating action. It's actually bringing us right back to Virgo with ourself as Earth. Do you see
Oh,
what
wow.
you see what
Okay.
I'm saying?
Mhm.
I was like,
Sure. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
yeah,
that's like the ultimate paradox of Pisces, that the world is real and it's an illusion, or form
yes,
and formlessness are one.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah, yeah.
yes,
I mean
exactly,
that the infinite um is not a contradiction to the finite, because it's the love is all that there is. So we have to almost dissolve the dualities.
yes,
What you were sharing reminds me of something I read recently. I was researching the field of biodynamic craniosacral work. Yeah,
yeah,
craniosacral. It's just very energetic oriented, and this one forerunner, this one leader in that field, I forgot his name, said something to the likes of, he was referencing the body as existing within the field. He didn't use the word soul, but basically it exists within the field of the soul. And something that we often forget, this is a very core Saturn and Pisces principle, is that the physical sort of crystallized reality exists within the larger context or predominance of the non-physical, the non-formed. And it seems like the opposite. Like we
mhm,
think like the soul exists within the body, but it's just quite the opposite. And to give less meaning to the structures, the forms, to crystallize, this is so real, I'm so stressed, this is so hard, all the things that we just think about this world, and to actually be able to access this unformed infinite lightness that is at the core of our very being,
Yeah.
it means we're not allowing the illusion to drag us down, and we're learning to meet the conditions of our life as a prayer, as an opportunity to grow more in the strength of the love that we are.
Mhm.
And that's why it's like this idea of really working with our vibration and catching ourselves in the moment and not judging, because here our spiritual curriculum is our life, truly every part of it. And it's not a flippant statement. To really embrace that is deep, it's profound. And you mentioned, the possibility of Pisces being this like escapist or intangible quality. I think that is a common fear when we move into the surrender or trusting state that we're going to be avoiding or not dealing with. And I think that's the point here. It's like the surrender is to actually bring the truth into our perception of this world, not to avoid or ignore or run away from our problems. Running away from our problems just makes our problems real. Denying an illusion makes the illusion a real thing, but actually bringing the light to the illusion so we can see it, so we can see ourselves, so we can heal. I think
Right.
this is, I'm grateful to be sharing these words together because what we share strengthens our own knowledge of it. So I'm appreciating that. This feels like a really important prayer during this season.
Mm. Can I just add one thing to re-emphasize something you're saying because it feels important just to name it again? Is then I think also as we are, releasing back into the reality of ourselves as light and those infinite possibilities of light and of the divine and all of it, a key component then is dissolving this very ingrained pattern of assuming that the mind or the mental machinations, I don't know, the mental stuff is where we're going to find our solutions, and certainly that helps, but ultimately, right, letting go into that Pisces North node is, I think, where the answers lie. Let the light lead the way, that kind of thing. Yeah, so that felt important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And just to come back to that, and I did, can you hear me? I just changed my microphone
Yeah.
to a better quality. Is it
Yeah.
better?
Good. Yeah, it's same to me, but yeah.
Yeah, oh, same when maybe I did nothing. Okay, so um, in referencing them back to that Mercury South node, we're allowing the light to clarify all of the details and lead us towards a solution that we simply can't come up. So you mentioned that Uranus squaring the new moon, and loosely Uranus is moving towards a square. Like next year, definitely, like if you look at the next eclipse season, we're going to have Uranus actually squaring the node. So we're in this precursor to a very Uranian revolutionary period. Like lots to say about Uranus,
So
but
much. Yeah.
we have to appreciate that a lot of our boxes and the way that we're framing our understanding of the present and the future has been conditioned by the past that we think is going to repeat. We're just trying to relive the past, and it's just where our life is really going through the lens and the judgment of spirit is nothing at all like what we think it is. We can very insistently try to recreate the past, but just repeating the same patterns. But there's a force much greater than our own conditioning. It's kind of beginning to like push its way through the concrete, like the
Yeah.
earthquake and the flowers pop through. It's like I didn't expect that flower. So there's something really powerful emerging that, as unsettling as the flow might feel, it's for our best.
Yes, and just as a note, August 27th, a year from now, 2026, is also going to be a lunar eclipse in Pisces, but it's going to be at 4 degrees of Pisces with Uranus at 5 degrees of Gemini.
All right, let's just take a look at that briefly because that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. And it echoes where this original new moon at 0 degrees of Virgo was, right? So things being aspected in the early degrees of mutable signs are really going to be aspected a year from now at this lunar
Mhm.
eclipse on August 27th. Yeah, 20. Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Yep.
so here we go.
There you go.
Here is the wow. Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
By then, the nodes have just moved
Yep.
into the Aquarius Leo axis. Yeah, very tightly. If I'm not mistaken, there will also be there will be a solar eclipse before then as well. I believe, correct?
Yes, at
Yeah,
like
in Leo.
Leo. Exactly. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah.
It's powerful. Just briefly, while we're on Uranus, Uranus stations retrograde this weekend. So it just
Friday or
that,
something. Yeah.
that precursor
Yeah.
to Uranus, it's really active because this retrograde motion, I just want to highlight this for everyone. Just take a look at Uranus. So like this weekend, it goes retrograde,
Yeah.
just around the time of the eclipse. So this is like the precursor, the foothills for this very strong Uranian energy. It's
Yeah.
interesting that by then, next year, we'll have the Leo Aquarius nodes, Aquarius, of course, being the north node, ruled by Uranus. So just so much profound transformation and revolution in the air. We're just getting started with this.
Yeah.
I wanted to say, too, this is just an interesting note. Look at this Uranus. It's like 12 or 13 minutes from an exact trine with Pluto, but
Wow.
it doesn't reach that trine. It doesn't reach an actual trine until next year, and it'll go in and out of a trine 5 times from 2026 till 2028 and remain in a trine until 2031. So even that, it's like the big trine of Pluto and Uranus. We're just like almost there, but it's going to be a very prevalent theme starting next year through into next decade. Just interesting to note that.
Amazing.
Okay, so we're going to put time signatures. Before we jump in, Martha, would you like to make any announcements related to your own work?
Sure. I would say actually, it's something very
Oh, sure.
Uranian. This is so weird. I don't even know if I've told you this. Did I tell you I have an app? Did I tell you I have an app?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there is a now a free app if anybody's interested. It's Living the One Light app on Apple and Android devices, and on the app there's a free community. It's thousands of people and only positivity and no ads, and it's free, and it's a place really to be uplifting each other. So I feel like in this Uranus and Gemini time is like, well, let's use this for good, And anyway, so that's part of what I'm being guided to do by my guides is that. Another thing, actually very Uranian in a certain way, and Piscean, is in October, my guides are very adamant that I need to be holding a class on how to channel. So if people are interested in that whole arena of things, I'll have that sign up page on my website really soon. And then I have lots of other free stuff, and people can go to my website,
Oh,
livingtheonelight.com. Yeah.
so we'll have all that, including your channel, in the description.
Yeah.
You can find links to sessions, my newsletter, my self-study training program. This month, I'm beginning my chart interpretation course, which is part 2. It's open only to those who have studied evolutionary astrology according to the teachings of Jeff Green. So application is necessary. If you think you're eligible, you're welcome to get in touch. Then we have a free class happening in a week or so where myself and some colleagues will be sharing stories on the life wisdom teachings of Jeffrey Wolf Green,
I love that.
teacher, the man who brought forward this lineage. Beautiful, beautiful class. It's a free class, so you can check all that in the description below.
And I just want to throw in, I took your course. I
Yes,
was one of your students. So, and I mean, I deeply, deeply, deeply still appreciate it so much. And I would just endorse it. So
thank
go.
you.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to read something to get us started, and this is something I put in my last newsletter, and I just feel like it really beautifully encompasses the essence of this axis. So the Virgo Pisces axis from one angle can represent the dichotomy of the perfect but totally inaccessible ideal, Pisces, and our own never-ending internal sense of inadequacy, Virgo. Our existing problems and struggles in life can easily serve as a rational proof that we are simply too far messed up for any meaningful healing. And the Virgo Pisces axis can often feel like a stark split between our entangled worldly problems and a more lofty spiritual experience. This leads to a sense of polarization between profound transcendental experience on the one hand, but then continually being drawn back into the ickiness of our personal struggles without the two worlds ever really meeting each other. These two worlds can feel so apart from one another. It's like a big transcendent experience in a ceremony, and everything is clear and there's light, and then you get back in your life and it's like, what happened to that clarity? It's so hard. It's so messy. There's so many things that feel unresolved. And I think that split between the Virgo Pisces axis is common on the spiritual path, but can be really highlighted during this particular season. So I take this inquiry very seriously as I can identify the strong polarization in my own mind. So I offer the following words as a prayer and offering that we can all receive during this time. Jesus said, "Seek the kingdom of heaven and all else shall be given to you." And to me, this means that the truth is actually enough. I think the practice here is to allow for the truth to illuminate all of our worldly problems, which is how we create the bridge between the transcendent, as inaccessible as it may feel, and the worldly day to day. The grace of God of truth comes in not because we have figured out all of the Virgo stuff, how to properly arrange all the details and solve all the problems of our life. It comes because we realize that we cannot possibly work out all of these details, and that there's a higher, more inclusive perspective that reframes everything that we see as a problem from a deeply gentle, non-judgmental, and caring lens. The North Node in Pisces suggests that there's a flow, a plan, and purpose beyond our existing logical framework. We don't have to understand it, and sometimes it just takes a sliver, modicum of willingness, of availability, for the truth to be more real than whatever we are holding on to. So with that, I just offer that meditation as we delve into looking at this eclipse through the houses. We don't have to understand how to get out of whatever causes pain and difficulty and stress within us. That's not necessarily the right use of mind in this case. But we are disciples of a path and a teacher that knows more than us, that seek and reference that guidance to lead the way. It will be good no matter what. Okay. South Node in Virgo in the 7th. North Node in Pisces in the 1st. Now, the South Node is going to have the Sun with Mercury there. The North Node is going to be with the Moon, not far from also Saturn in Pisces, so you can group all of those together. So we'll just do some collaborative back and forth here. With the South Node in Virgo in the 7th, we can imagine the unresolved messiness can be expressing in our relationships. I'm not good enough, I'm not giving well enough, I'm not showing up, I'm not worthy enough, or the Virgo critical nature can be projected outwards. All the problems with you, this is what you're not doing enough. That's the thing with Virgo in the 7th. There can be a highly critical relational experience where either it's being reflected back to oneself, all of my own internal inadequacies, and I'm just going to be never enough, and my relationships will prove that I'm never enough, or I'm going to be perpetually projecting that internal inadequacy outwards, and those who I'm with will always have some sort of issue, and they're causing the problems in my life. And relative to that Mercury, I think we have to really be mindful to not get stuck in endless working out problems through relational dialogue and exchange. It's like it can go on forever. The critical, analytical dynamic can just take us into our mind and strip us from any real authentic intimacy. The North Node here in Pisces in the 1st invites us to claim some agency of purpose and spiritual connection. When our identity and sense of worth and adequacy isn't so wrapped up around others are like, how good, how well am, as a counselor, how well am I doing? We can overgive, we can overcome, we can go way too far because we're never enough. So I'm going to overgive, right? All kinds of Virgo dynamics. When our identity isn't wrapped up in our relationships, there's a freedom to trust the next moment. And that first house will, freedom. What do I want? What's my calling? Where's my inspiration? So there's an invitation here to access what is my calling right now. And we need to embrace some level of aloneness so that we can access, I have a purpose. And from a forgiven mind, when I'm not trying to resolve some sense of inadequacy or not enoughness, my life wants to go somewhere. And this will reframe, this will bring light and clarity and peace into our relationships because we can be okay with things being imperfect. So what would you like to add to this?
Yeah, I mean, the main thing that comes up for me then is, so if a person has Virgo descendant and 7th house, right, then that's Pisces ascendant and 1st house. And I can imagine, feel that to have a Pisces 1st house and ascendant, it'd be really possibly easy to lose yourself, like lose my identity into the all, into the everything. So maybe for some people there would be, and then you have this Virgo quality going on in relationships. So I can imagine possibly feeling a kind of even passive aggressive sense of I've lost myself over here, but now I'm blaming the something over here, right?
Mm.
And so I feel like this is maybe an opportunity to do some radical forgiving, even in relation to others, but in relation to ourselves, and then find the earth, the grounding in me, not only projecting it out. So to somehow um, find the healing in that Virgo Pisces bridge to to also bridge me and you.
Hmm.
That making
Hmm.
sense?
Yeah. With Neptune ruling that Pisces North Node on the cusp of Aries and Pisces. So for most people in the house system that I work in, Porphyry depends on whether you use whole or not. That Neptune will probably be either in your second or first. So I think there's a strong invitation to embrace what might feel selfish. Like
Yes,
your no might be important.
exactly.
Being unavailable, and it's like it just kind of purifies and brings up where so much of our identity was built around who we need to be for others or our projection of what others might think of us. Being able to ground in our own self value, our own self reliance, and acknowledge that I have to honor what my life is for. That's like the deeper Virgo, Pisces teaching here. We think that our life is for all kinds of things, but we forgot that we didn't create ourselves, and that on a deeper level, this life is designed for our awakening. So we've misplaced meaning and value in all kinds of roles and people that we think we should be. There's a big adjustment in this signature. It might be disappointing. I might have to face my inadequacy or not being what I wanted to, but what is my path in life? What does spirit, how does love want to move me right now?
Mm. Yeah. And I would say also just to throw in there the sacred yes and sacred no become
Yes.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say something on the sacred yes and sacred no. I've been learning a lot about this. There's something powerful around the truth of the present moment. So not falling into a spiritual, I'm trying to make myself a yes or make myself a no
Yeah.
because I should. It's the right thing to do, right? Even if we might wish that we felt differently, that sacred yes, that sacred no is just honest.
Yeah.
It's just, well, this is what is true. And if I'm true to the moment, that's where God can come in. So often I found that my authentic no right now, by way of embracing it, allowed for a yes to come in. But I couldn't have made that yes. I had to
Yeah.
be true to the no first so that something greater can come in. Otherwise, I would have been clouding my mind and I wouldn't be available to learn and to kind of see more of the truth.
Right. And the thing is, if we ignore our true sacred yes and sacred no, then really what's going to happen, especially in this signature we're talking about, then I think that's when that Virgo polarity can kind of raise its head a little bit,
Mm.
and go and start blaming and projecting. And, because the sacred yes and sacred no in me, I haven't been honoring it actually myself. And instead of taking responsibility for that in me, I'm suddenly blaming so and so. Right.
Mhm.
And so it's not actually going to work. Like, yeah.
Beautiful.
Mm.
All right. Will you lead us on South Node in the eighth, North Node Pisces in the second?
Yeah, that's a fascinating combination. So, okay, so if you have Virgo in eighth house, right, the thing that comes up for me immediately is these Virgo gifts being in the house that could also be associated with really deep soul gifts, right? So, like that witch archetype comes up and all kinds of things, but also power dynamics, big time, possibly having been caught up with your Virgo energies. So, either maybe you having um, overstepped power boundaries, or other people taking advantage of your power, whatever it is, some kind of power imbalance possibly having been really prevalent in many past lives. um, and so I can imagine a lot of clearing happening for this person with regard to those power imbalances and those soul Virgo gifts. And then the North Node over there in second house in Pisces, again, it's like this because it's Pisces second house. I would wonder with this person, have you been giving away your true needs in this earth life, like, right? Like, if you've been, oh, no, I'm fine, I'm good, I'm the martyr when it comes, just I'll do all of this healing power that I'm bringing into this lifetime, I'll just give it away for free. Like I don't need anything, but I'm over here starving, right? That kind of a thing. So, um, so yeah, with this dance, I can imagine us or a person really honing, coming into a very deep and powerful acknowledgement and embodiment of the truth of the power of who you are, who those gifts are, and bridging the reality that no, you are an earth body, you have earth needs, you're in service to the divine, you really do want to be in service in these ways, um, and yet there's a need to radically forgive, radically let go of maybe whatever those power dynamics and imbalances were. Maybe that will actually allow you to more fully embrace your second house, Pisces second house, where you can accept receiving and not only just giving everything away.
Great. The
Yeah.
Virgo eighth house can be this compulsion to get ourselves into situations where we're going to be degraded one
Mm.
way or another, right? Our internal sense of I don't have a connection to my own power.
Yeah.
I don't feel a source within. And so that can be, this manipulation, which can generate a lot of guilt within our own field, or allowing ourselves to be used, taken advantage of, manipulated. I think the key with that Pisces second is somehow in the midst of all that I think is wrong or bad with me, or I feel icky, I want to purify or cleanse something. Like that Virgo cleanse, I want to cleanse something, and so please hurt me.
Yeah.
In the midst of all of that, I'm somehow invited now to draw from and trust in this truth of enoughness. Like Pisces second house being this ultimate sense of I am worthy and valuable, and there's value in life according to the truth of what I am in my relationship with the divine. So, this deep contentment and peace to accept and to receive a greater grace that is unconditioned.
Mm.
But all of these things need to be resolved. Think of eighth house as like, sexuality, where we merge with others, in business and sharing resource, right? All the ways in which we get involved. And it can feel so complex. And maybe like, think of Mercury there. And let's say you're dealing with money. That can feel like, oh my God, I made these investments and I trusted this person, but now look what's going on. Resisting that temptation with our mind to get stuck in the sense of deprivation and loss.
Yeah.
So, second house is sensuality. Pisces is infusing it with love, with the divine. The beauty, the simplicity of your present moment experience, art, grace, dance, music. There's meaning and direction in your life coming here now, arising here now, that will reframe all of these entanglements. Just remember eighth house Virgo as if things feel really entangled, it's not because there's something out there. It's a reflection of my mind. It's a reflection of my attachment and where I forgot who I am. So we have to kind of loosen our grip a little bit so we can claim more of our power and see things a lot more clearly.
Beautiful. This is fun. We've never done this before. This is
This is
awesome.
great. I'm loving it. And
Yeah.
I love that I don't have to hold each one, that we can alternate. It allows my mind to rest. And then because we work so differently,
Yeah.
it creates here's a thought. It's great.
We work so differently, yet I learned from you. So actually there's an Ari thread through everything I do. So,
Beautiful.
but then there's the Martha too. Yeah.
Yeah, everything that you speak to, I can access. Oh, I resonate. It's coming from, and this is great for Pisces in the third house, the language, the way that we frame our reality. There are so many ways of thinking of life. So now let's go into Virgo South Node in the ninth, North Node Pisces in the third. This Virgo South Node this is the truth. This is the way, right? This is the way to do astrology. This is the answer. And so there can be, coming from actually a deep internal inadequacy and guilt and self-doubt, that I can't know the truth. I'm going to overcompensate and hold on to this dogmatism and be very rigid in that way. Now, the ninth house Virgo issue is we can adopt belief systems and dogmas that only further induce our sense of feeling far from the truth. Like these are belief systems that create alienation and don't further us along the path. They further us along our belief systems. Third house Pisces there's another way of looking at your life. Wherever there is any kind of rigidity, guilt, self-harshness, or criticism, there's another angle or perspective that wants to open up our mind to another perspective or angle that maybe we would have judged or not thought of or seen as impure. So that's why I love hearing you, because everything you say, I can find resonance with it, but your languaging and the way that your mind works, it's always going to come from a completely, slightly different frame or perspective. Pisces sort of wants to open up our minds and say, okay, I have my map and I thought I knew what I was doing. I had all of my Virgo ninth house answers. I got it all cosmologically worked out. And to be honest, I actually have no clue what's going on. Just allow ourselves to not know, allow ourselves to be students and to experience something in this world of experience, conversations, interactions, new pieces of data, information that might even seem totally unspiritual, but actually might be relevant. We can get really stuck in our own ideas and beliefs of the path where it's no longer a pilgrimage. We're no longer learning. And so this really wants us to shake in and loosen up the grip of all that we thought was true.
Yeah, beautiful. My Mercury in Pisces is very happy with what you're saying. Right. Yeah. No, so the one thing I'm thinking, I'm doing the geometry in my mind. So I think with this person, what I'd be really curious to look at is where is that Uranus in Gemini? Because I'm guessing it would be like what, like 11th, 12th house-ish?
No, we'll say so if we have this, oh yeah, right. Yeah, if Virgo, no.
Wait.
If Pisces in the third,
Oh, wait.
then the
Right.
Uranus will be somewhere depending on the house system, fifth or sixth.
Fifth or sixth. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of course what comes up for me with this is basically what you just said, but I would wonder, if you have Virgo in ninth house, and now the South Node is transiting your ninth house in Virgo. I would wonder if there are themes coming up for you around gurus or teachers or some kind of, where you've either been the teacher or been the student of a teacher, where or both, probably both, and there's been this sense of I'm not good enough, or being told I'm not good enough by this guru figure or something along those lines, right? And now that's being cleared, and I would wonder, how is the Uranus and Gemini supporting you in that, because the North Node in Pisces and the Uranus and Gemini are both energies for you, for this person, that are in different ways helping to
Mhm.
free that up,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Beautiful. A lot of it's freeing the mind from the controlled frames and boxes, and I've intellectually ordered it to make sense and fit into this box, and apparently none of that is true.
Yeah. And it's
Right.
okay. It's all okay. Like, it's fine that it's not true. It's all good. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. So you lead the next one, Virgo South Node in the 10th, North Node Pisces in the 4th.
Got it. Okay. So Virgo in
I'm just going
10,
to respond to a message here.
yeah. um, Virgo in the 10th house would, yeah, I mean, so again, there would be this really interesting dynamic, 10th house, 4th house, between so if you have Virgo in the 10th house, I would wonder, again, similar to Virgo in the ninth house, but slightly different. Do you have a sense of a lot of shoulds, or a lot of not good enoughness from authority figures, from society, from what you feel like society expects of you, right? And then the nodes are then bridging that 10th house Virgo with your very sensitive, tender Pisces 4th house, right?
Mm.
And trying to help bridge. Um, so if you have Pisces 4th house, you have an incredibly sensitive, intuitive, beautiful, emotional intelligence body, right? And then that's going to be something about your soul designed this chart for you in this way, because there's some gift in learning how to bridge the Virgo 10th house. I need to do it like this. I need to be very precise. I need to, whatever it is, but I'm this tender, beautiful inner crab, the crab without the shell inside myself, who is Piscean. That is such a contrast, right? And how do I meet both gifts? Because they're ultimately both gifts. Go. What?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. The Virgo 10th house can highlight this incredible self pressure to perform in one's life, all of the roles and the responsibilities. And like, the person that I need to be socially in our work, in our family, the role that I need to play. And it can either be, on the one hand, neglect. Like Virgo in the 10th can actually be this extreme of neglect and not dealing with one's life because it's like being an adult is way too much, but it's not embracing that Pisces polarity. It's more like I'm just not showing up. And then the other side of the coin is perfectionism and guilt and shame and repression and needing to do the right thing all the time to the point where it's holding this huge weight of self-pressure and criticism. And again, with that Mercury, I think this can really highlight a sense of like there are just too many tasks. It's like just pick like an example of a typical parent. Like you got your work to do and all the things to do for your kids and the drop off and the pickup and the house, and it's just so much. Pisces fourth house is this womb of infinity.
Mm.
You are
Mm.
loved. You know yourself to be cared for and loved. So that's like the contradiction of this eclipse. Like, how do we surrender to a deeper love and rest and knowing that we're cared for, knowing that we're safe in the midst of an experience that might feel very stressful and difficult and heavy? This is exactly where that principle of faith is. Can I practice that restfulness and that compassion? It really means also being gentle and compassionate with others. Are we gentle and caring and spacious in how we meet other people? Or are we judgmental and rigid and get the job done? There is definitely a calling to soften and embrace this greater field of infinity and expansiveness. I'm thinking of an experience I had last night. Put my daughters to sleep, and one daughter was up and just would not go to sleep, making noise, kicking all over the place. I get up with her and we eat some food. And I found myself losing my patience. And I lose my patience a lot. And I think about, wow, I'm really, the judgment can really come up. Wow, I'm not really evolved. Like here I still am, losing my patience. And so I just took a moment, humbly recognizing, Creator, I need help. God, help me. Acknowledging with honesty, I'm feeling stressed, I'm feeling anger, and it's not even anger towards her. It's like it elicits that deeper Virgo. I have no control over it. It brings up all the messes that are unresolved in my life, all the ways in which it's just like, oh, life is so hard. Creator, I want to see differently, and it's like asking for support and just a little wedge, little bit of availability.
Yeah.
And I found myself like that anger just kind of moved into a different emotion of just crying for a moment. And it's really rare to access. It was like a moment of just like falling into the vulnerability of this moment where there's some level of like letting myself be held to just be where I am now. When there's less harshness and judgment and we offer less of that, there's more availability for the experiences to sort of just soften us and open us up. But we can't be rigid and judgmental and controlling. Otherwise, we're just going to get pushed. Adyashanti once shared this beautiful teaching. And it reminds me of, like, you can be given an insult. And if there's any self in there, if there's any rigidity, if there's any defense, that will hurt.
Mm.
Your beloved can just say this thing to you and it'll just stab you. But if there's emptiness there, it'll just move, that knife will just move right through and you won't feel a thing. It comes, you feel, but it just moves and it comes and it goes. So I think there's a whole perspective and a more compassionate lens for our lives that we're being called to allow in, to be well, to be cared for, to know that we're loved, that we're not here to suffer.
And just to throw in there, especially for this person, but for all of us, right? I think what you're describing there, it's so perfect. Then for this person, the South Node would be in their 10th house, but Saturn be in Pisces in their 4th house.
Yeah, fourth or fifth, yeah.
Or 5th, yeah. So, right. So I would really like encourage you, if this is you, to sit with the Saturn archetype, the 10th house archetype, the Capricorn archetype. And I mean, Ari and I both agree, right? We both have a similar perspective on Saturn being actually a yin planet and being actually a very soft wisdom. That's how I think of it, as a wisdom keeper of ourself, right? So like imagining that wise self, or like the inner grandmother or whatever, wise elder person of ourself coming and sitting next to us, like sitting next to you in that moment and going, I got you. Like, I'm right here, and then you can just cry. And
Love
then,
that.
yeah,
Saturn and Pisces in the fourth is a wise, eternal wisdom grandmother, grandfather, just sitting with you, being with you, caring for you right there. And you're safe, you're held, and there's wisdom there.
exactly.
Love
Yeah.
that. Okay. We should probably shorten each
Yeah.
one
I
because
know.
I'm a little bit late on my end. Okay. So I'll start with, although I'm loving this.
Yeah.
Um, so Virgo, 11th house, south node, Pisces, north node in the fifth.
Mhm.
And this can really bring up one, a lot of comparison. Um, all the things that others are doing, the communities, the social media accounts, the clicks. I'm not as good as them. I'm not as good of a fill in the blank astrologer, Instagram model. All these different judgments or ideas of what it might look like to be one of the cool people, and so my contribution, my value in the world isn't meaningful. That inadequacy can also lead to a lot of compensation. Here's the avatar that I can build, all the energy and mental thought I can put into making myself fit in. I'm going to try to make myself someone meaningful because I feel so alienated and different and disconnected and not a part of anything meaningful. That Pisces North Node is don't look on the outside. Don't try to find belonging. You have a Virgo 11th houses, you have a contribution to be in service to the collective to help improve and evolve the world. But if there's this sense of I'm not important or I'm trying to find my belonging, we're always going to be in this psychology of inferiority. Pisces, fifth house is access your inner prince and princess. Like seeing those Disney show tunes that you grew up loving, get inspired, get creative, be a little bit magical, get in touch with your inner fairy Davic essence, and allow this life to be a little more celebratory. This takes the energy away from the strong, I'm not enough, I'm not doing enough, how do I belong, how do I fit in, how do I make my mark in this world, to I'm here to open up my heart and trust the love and the joy that wants to come through me. It really, for many souls, might be a calling to have some courage, especially with Saturn being in the mix. Put some effort, some work, and some courage to actually bring manifestation to our dreams. Otherwise, we can spend a lot of energy trying to find purpose and belonging in being something that we're not. Like just being a cog in the machine. I can do this function really well, but is that where your joy and your love and your inspiration is? There's a role in the and a function that love would have us play. So I think this is a strong calling to embrace that, even if it's vulnerable, even if it means being seen, standing out. It's okay because that's what love wants to do through you, and it's not for you to judge.
Exactly. I'll just throw in one thing, which is so here, going back to the let light lead the way, let love lead the way. It's right. Like what I want to say here is let light and love play. Like just
Oh,
like
I love that.
right?
Play.
Like imagine if you just let the light of the divine just come straight into your heart, come straight into your being and just I don't know, just dance or like literally let it move you, you know? Be
That's
ridiculous,
beautiful.
whatever.
I love that. Love that. All right. Will you lead us with the 12th house, 6th house axis?
Yeah. So 12th house, Virgo, North house, North node. Oh my goodness,
You
sixth
got
house
it.
Pisces. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, right. So uh, that's a really interesting one. That's a really interesting one that I think we can both relate to. But yeah, so I mean, here, what I can imagine, what I could feel is if you have Virgo in the 12th house, there could be the sense of what it is to be spiritual, what it is to be divine will have that Virgo quality. So you could very easily come into this self-doubt, this I should, this I'm not good enough when it comes to being spiritual, actually, right? Or a spiritual being, and you really, really, really want to be of service because you have a Virgo 12th house. I mean, wow. And yet, the perfectionism could really come in and play out quite a bit in trying to be of service, right? And could stumble over that a lot. Um, and so then the North Node. This is so actually such a fascinating combo. The North Node in Pisces in your sixth house is like, wow, like we're still going to be in the structures of sixth house. We're still going to be needing to find those ways to be of service, even in a day-to-day, regular kind of way, earthy way. Yet it's really, of course, about bridging, like breathing
Mm.
light and earth as one. And so how can I find the fun? It's not fun in the sense of fifth house fun, but like how can I find the lightness and The magic, maybe magic is a better word. The magic that's going to inform, going to infuse my sixth house
Beautiful.
serviceness. Yeah. And bridge all of it.
Well
Yeah.
said. Absolutely. Yeah. The Virgo 12th house can be a spiritual inadequacy.
Mm,
My gifts aren't good enough. I have too many judgments and resentments, or just all the ways in which we can create this deep sense I'm far away from the truth, I'm far away from God, I'm far away from salvation. And it can really result in this place of, and so I have nothing to offer. Pisces in the sixth house is allowing forgiveness to express through our service. So there's work to do. We each have a function to perform. We have to be willing to embrace that imperfection.
yeah.
The healer that we are, the astrologer, the writer, the teacher, the whatever that we are, and the function that we perform, even just all the different tasks in our life. If we're focusing on all of our inadequacies, we become very materialistic in our spirituality. We become very concerned with this ideal of perfection, as if that's what love is looking for. Jeff Green always wrote with the Virgo axis, the value is in the effort. And in this case, the value is in the ways in which we forgive our own inadequacies and show up anyway.
Yeah.
And to make corrections as we need to. It's the space. So I can think with sixth house Virgo, there can be a lot of, I have health issues, or there are all these different crises or things that I can't quite solve or figure out. There are these problems that I can't diagnose in my life, like a mess of back end issues or whatever. We can't do enough to resolve it and work it out on a linear level. That's the stress with Mercury there, with that South Node in Virgo in the 12th. It's like the mind in the ocean trying to organize everything, but all the waves keep crashing. It's like, mercy, what do? I got to surrender and just take the next step. And it's going to be messy. It's not going to be resolved. But this says it's not about a perfect body. It's not about a perfect back end system. It's not about a perfect technique. It's about how you're making yourself available to serve the functions that you're here to serve. All the other pieces will resolve and clarify it's almost like a test to not get stuck on getting everything organized and perfectly worked out before you give your life over to a higher purpose and spiritual meaning. Give yourself to the service and to the purpose that you're here to walk first. The details will work out gradually in time. Don't worry so much about that part.
Yeah, and I'd throw in one sentence, which is for this person, I would also be really curious to look where their Mercury is. And
Literally. Yeah.
my instinct would be to bring the Pisces magic to wherever their Mercury is, right? Like, is there some, yeah, anyway, that's where I would also focus. Yeah.
To bring the Pisces, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, because that natal Mercury is going to rule all of that Virgo. And so that's going to speak to where the unique way in which we might individually each get gnarled up in our own control. And thus where there's going to be a reframe of how do I think about this differently when I'm less focused on getting it perfect.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. I will lead us with the next axis. So Virgo South Node in the first, Pisces North Node in the seventh. This highlights, Virgo first can have a lot of control. I can do it by myself. I can do it really well by myself. I want to be alone to work on the things that I want to work on. It's a strong leadership and sense of control. The Pisces seventh house, Pisces is chaos, right? Like Virgo, Pisces is sort of chaos and order from one angle. So other people, they're chaotic. It's like there's a strong sense of if I embrace love and relationship, if I open up to the other, I'm going to be held back. I'm either going to lose myself indiscriminately and feel like I can't make my own choices and be stuck there, or I'm just going to be, I'm going to be immersed, completely merged into some delusional dream reality of someone else's world, their dream, and I won't know how to discern and get myself out. So that Pisces North Node actually asks us to bring our love into our relationships, to open up to the full 100% with capital Full reality of the other. Because the full reality of the other is not a threat. It's not a thing to possess or give meaning to, nor is it a thing to be afraid of or to avoid. But opening up to the full reality is allowing the unconditional love of the divine to say, I accept all of you. And in the recognizing of your full worthiness and the love that you are, I claim and clarify and strengthen the reality of my own. Thus, there's a collaboration and a path that arises in the unity of that love and that shared, I accept you as you are, and I'm not going to control you. This reframes the Virgo. We can go, what is it? Slower but better together,
Mhm.
quicker but maybe not as well alone.
Mhm.
All of the things that we want to achieve and do in our own organization, our own plans, we have a lot more clarity and direction perspective because Virgo first can lack perspective. It can be very like stuck in its own details and linear ideas and kind of just be in go mode. It provides a larger perspective for the pieces that we individually can't see on our own because we're willing to embrace more of the truth. More of the truth in this case is in the other, is in that which is not what you can understand on your own. And that's where deep healing happens here.
Yeah, beautiful. And this is my signature, so relating to a lot of what you're saying. But I would say one thing I would add in there is also, you're kind of saying it, I'll just explicitly name it, is when we have a Pisces seventh house, we can have a history of losing ourselves in the other, right? So
Right.
that's fear, I think there, speaking for myself, that yeah, sure, I want to accept and open to the other, the totality of the other, but I've also done the other side of that, which is to accept to such an extreme degree that I'm giving myself away to the other. So I think the part of the opportunity for those of us with that signature is to ground in, find me. Again, it comes back to that sacred yes and sacred no. Also, really, really find me and the value, the self-value of me, the Virgo me, stay open to the other, and yet use it as a rebalancing energy as opposed to a losing myself energy, right?
Beautiful. Yeah.
Come back to the center. Yeah.
Beautiful. It's also recognizing that each person has their own needs and there's a path that we are each walking in life and we're not going to meet everyone's need and we're not going to be able to accommodate to everyone's needs or everyone's illusions or everyone's project, right? And that's not our role in life, but allowing another person's full evolutionary curriculum to stand alongside our, and this is every single relationship in our life, where we're not dictating the meaning or the purpose of what that relationship should be. We allow for a context and a perspective to widen, again, just beyond anything that we could have imagined on our own. Like there's a diversity that emerges on its own because elements that we couldn't have thought of on our own are now entering into our field, which allows us to surrender to a path that's actually far more beneficial, which we can't see on our own. This is where the holiness of relationship teaches us so much more than we can ever possibly apprehend on our own.
Yeah. And we have so the really cool thing though for those of us with the Pisces seventh house is we have that wisdom keeper Saturn sitting there with us.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? It's like that actually helps me remember it's okay if I open myself and let's say I start to get lost in the other or whatever it happens to be. I've like this wisdom keeper Saturn has got me,
Love
right?
it. That also says, Saturn being close to the North Node for all of these, you can really imagine what is the spiritual discipline, the discipline of non-judgment and sort of a matured spiritual responsibility. How do we apply that in every single one of these examples? So Saturn and Pisces in the seventh, in a new phase with the North Node, this is like, what is it like to listen without judgment?
Mm,
To listen as a matured person, meaning I'm not getting lost in you.
yeah,
I'm here, but I'm
yeah.
not judging you either. And so I'm discerning, I'm present, I'm aware, but I'm not holding myself as in separate. There's a lot of beauty in just kind of contemplating what a matured spirituality looks like here in the seventh house.
And a slowness, I want to say also, right?
Yeah, taking the time to hear, taking the time to listen and take things in.
Yeah, beautiful.
All right, you lead us on the next axis.
Okay,
Second.
so second Virgo, Pisces eighth. Yes, okay. Yeah, I mean, so now we're doing the flip of what we've already done, right? So this gets really interesting. So Virgo in second, I mean, it's kind of the opposite-ish of Pisces in second. So if you have Virgo in your second house, first of all, that's very, very grounded, but there can
Mhm.
also be this sense of, yeah, and I don't deserve. And in another, another way that Pisces in second also can feel like I don't deserve to have what I need. There can be that with the Virgo in second, but in a sense of maybe like, yeah, I need to continually, like, I get this feeling in my body of like somehow I need to continually purge, or I need to continually be doing almost like repentance or something in order to like the I get this image of a, the beggar on the street who's the
Mm.
guru person, but who's only going to receive what the pennies, um, by giving service. And yeah, and so something about maybe if that's been your money story or your resources story, there's something about a not good enoughness, and I never quite have what I need because I feel like I ultimately don't deserve it.
Mm.
Then this south node there is a powerful opportunity to be letting the heck go of that, right? And then the north node being in the eighth house with Pisces, etc., is like, okay, so we can release back into the ultimate truth, the ultimate reality of the divine being, where the resources really, really are, where the power really, really is, right? And letting that forgiveness of ourself, of all of it, maybe even maybe possibly um a forgiveness of those lifetimes where you have had not enough or something, right? And letting that forgiveness heal and bring you back to a sense of wholeness with regard to all of that. Go.
Beautiful. Okay.
Yeah.
The other dimension to all of this can be, imagine in that second house, you have what you have,
Mm.
whether it's a lot or a little, but it becomes the limits of your entire world. So you kind of isolate yourself, and there can be at the foundation a very deep, I'm holding on to a sense of self-preservation, like a lot of control. I'm in my own little isolated hole in the earth. I'm
Mm.
keeping myself there. I got what I got. It may not be a lot. And internally, there might be a deep internal sense of poverty as you're expressing. And maybe I'm not worth very much, but I'm comfortable here.
Mhm.
And so there might be a lot of gifts and skills and craftiness in Virgo, and this you're really cultivating your internal and external garden. You have a lot of attention and detail put into cultivating your own resourcefulness. And with Mercury there, many gifts,
Mm.
many skills, very sensual, very embodied. But I think the issue here is one of control and isolation. Getting out of the familiar world with that Pisces in the eighth, it's like the chaos of what you can't control. Like suddenly there's a flood and water seeps into your little hole in the earth and like everything's destroyed. And that Virgo second house is like, what do I do? I can't. Like the water's floating you up above the surface and you have nothing but just to surrender. It's like, here I am now. I don't got my hole anymore. So that Pisces in the eighth can actually be this deep existential, on the one hand, real fear of death, but psychologically, it's fear of losing everything that I'm holding on to, which sort of keeps my world in check. It keeps my inadequacy in place. It keeps my own self-preservation in a very fixed place. So I don't have to be threatened or insecure enough to actually be exposed and share my gifts and be challenged and be confronted. So the eighth house, sexuality, intimacy, deeper emotional, psychological confrontation, business, merging, sharing finances. We're going to enter into a world that's much greater than ourselves. But the key is this: if we don't circulate our gifts and invest ourselves in experience beyond what we can control and do on our own, if we're only dependent upon ourselves, we have to ask the question, what's the point of it?
Mm.
Like, what's the point of all that we got if we're not going to offer all that we have to something greater than ourselves? So there might be some messiness. And, that Saturn again says, you got this, right? It's like we're working with deeper spiritual energy here, transmute, learning how to take all of our resource, but give it over to a regenerative process where the giving and the sharing and the receiving and the investment in life allows for a generation of chi and energy that is far greater than anything that we can cultivate on our own. In terms of finances, this can actually bring an expansion of wealth simply on the basis of we're not holding on to stagnation. There can be a fear. If I let go, I'm not going to be safe. I'm going to be violated. I'm going to be hurt. There could be a deep protecting of our own vulnerability. As that Pisces eighth can represent where I'm getting lost in what I can't control. But this is exactly where we need to learn how to show up with greater spiritual agency and strength in order to make more of our lives.
Yeah. Beautiful. Mhm.
Great. Okay. I'll start us off with the next axis. Virgo in the third, south node, with Pisces, north node in the ninth. Okay. So Virgo, third house, does speak strongly to the linear boxes that we can understand and that we can control. This would put archetypally Uranus in Gemini in maybe in the 11th or in the 12th. So there can be a lot of value or intelligent energy put into the strength of our mind and its importance and its relevance. And so we can map everything out. With Mercury there, it's like, okay, I'm going to go down to the cafe. Well, let me tell you, you walk 20 feet. Oh, wait, you're from Europe. Okay, you know, 5 meters. I'm sorry, I'm getting meters wrong. Every detail mapped out, but it's like, okay, you know how to map everything out, and you're going to pass 3 deciduous trees. The first one's going to be older than the second two because I counted the rings. Like, we can map so many details about our life to the point where we're just living in this protection of the journey. If I let go of the map and all the things that I can do with my mind, I'm left with the unknown. Pisces in the ninth house is the path, is the journey, is this great wide open world of wilderness of the pilgrimage home, and it's a journey that I can't understand and I have to surrender to it. This strongly speaks to referencing our intuition. Now, if there are things that we're doing, plans we're making, technologies that we're working with, communication dynamics, things we're planning, things we're writing, and it's not done, you're writing a book and it's not edited, or it's too... This Pisces North Node says, consider what it's like to feel internally complete and trusting of where you are, so you can just allow yourself to move to the next experience. Otherwise, you'll be stuck in endless editing and you'll never share. I'd rather read a book with a lot of errors and spelling mistakes than a book that's perfectly written but is never released. In fact, I wouldn't ever read it. And so we have gifts to share, but we have to allow ourselves to step into a deeper intuitive wisdom, to trust life and the currents of life, and not hold ourselves back because of our own linear meticulousness. What would you like to add to this?
Yeah, I would be really curious to look where this person's Jupiter and
Mm.
Mercury are, right? And because that's going to tell a whole story of what is this third house Virgo, like let's say with a really meticulous Mercury is going to even add to that story that you just
Yes.
versus let's say this person has Jupiter in Pisces, and I'd be like, oh, phew, or I don't know, there's some I would want to know more about what is their story, and then I would be hopefully wanting to sit with, like, if this is you, sit with that Mercury and that Jupiter and your third house and your ninth house and feel, okay, what do my Mercury and my Jupiter need, right? What is
Mm.
going to help them feel like they can relax? Because that Virgo third house could get so intense, just like you're describing, and then kind of like never leave that and just get really anxious. But that North Node in the ninth house in Pisces is you're really being supported to let that go, relax into the totality, the wholeness of all of who you are. Because if you have a Pisces ninth house, actually you're very intuitive also.
You have
It's
that
a
in you.
fascinating combination to have a Virgo's third house, yet a Pisces ninth house. So yeah, it's like your soul wants to find the marriage of the two. And I think the Jupiter and the Mercury in your own chart can help you bridge all of that.
For many souls, there can be this like fear, like if I just let go and trust, I'm gonna get lost. I'll
Mm-hmm.
take too high of a dose. I'll think I'm following my intuition and I'll utterly and completely delude myself, right? Or I followed this teacher and I was completely mistaken and so that Virgo third can be this very meticulous. It needs to be linear and practical and evident. So there's something in that Pisces North Node, especially again with Saturn there, it says you're safe to trust your intuition
Yes.
and focus on allowing this path to teach you what you currently don't know. Allow yourself to learn what you don't understand. Allow this to be one of having new perspective and new insight. It's not a lack of discrimination. It's just expanding your understanding of life, who you are, what this is all about, and orienting towards a deeper, more direct experience. Virgo third can also be a lot of mental distract. Like we're putting off our work in life by just scrolling on the phone and distracting ourselves all day. Pisces in the ninth is you have a purpose. You might be here to teach something. You might be guided to go somewhere and do something and walk this path. So allow the path to know more than you do and create space for the mystery.
Yeah. Beautiful. Love it.
Okay, you lead us with the fourth, 10th.
Yeah. Okay. So Virgo in fourth house, Pisces in 10th house. Yeah. Okay. So if you have Virgo in the fourth house, what comes up for me there is this possibility that perhaps there's been in your childhood, in your upbringing, your family of origin, that sense of the Virgo, criticism and all of that. That's definitely a possibility. Yet also these gifts. Maybe there's actually a lineage for you of ancestry of these Virgo gifts of the healer archetypes, or the maybe through your maternal line or even paternal line or any of it. So there's a combo there. But what I would imagine the healing opportunity could be is really sitting with your emotional body, your emotional intelligence. And again, I would guess that there might be this imprinting of I'm not good enough, I should have done it like that, I should have this. um and then it's so fascinating because then you have Pisces in your 10th house, and 10th house is often the shoulds energy, yet it's Pisces. So like, wow, this is fascinating. So that 10th house Pisces can be then an energy that's an opportunity to release into, I want to say, the almost like the authority of God, like the authority, yeah, if I'm coming into this, bringing in this life into this lifetime through my family experiences, this I should, then I can bridge that with this Piscean concept of the bigger world, right? And somehow,
Mhm.
yeah, you take it from there, because it's like, it's what is that? What is that combo? Actually, it's so fascinating. What's like the ultimate
Well, I
marriage?
want to say at some point when you close your eyes and put your hands up, all of these balloons
Oh, they did?
move through your Zoom screen when you began talking about Pisces in the 10th.
That's hilarious.
I mean, it's the lightness of this world.
Yeah.
So Virgo in the fourth can mean like our own inner life or home life, our own emotional sense of identity can feel very messy. It's
Mm.
like literally our home can just be full of dirty laundry and unclean dishes, but internally it's like I just have this internal self-image of being messy, and there can be real issues of neglecting self-care or just feeling deeply unhealthy from within oneself.
Mm.
This can lead to a sort of unstable internal emotional reality, or always fixing and dealing with crisis in one's home life, right? So getting stuck in that domain, it's like you're a slave or a servant in your own home kind of metaphor.
Yeah.
Pisces in the 10th house says there's purpose and there's meaning beyond the boundaries and the walls of your own home. You have a purpose in life. Pisces in 10th is forgiving all of the internalized self-image issues or complexes that we might be carrying, and giving ourselves over to something greater. Now, the 10th house, fourth house speaks to that relationship between the child and the parent. And so we need to be disciplined. Oftentimes, the issue here is we might feel like there's a lack of proper support. Like, I need someone to hold my hand when I cross the street. So 10th house Pisces, like life is random, life is chaotic, life is meaningless. Like there's no structure, there's no order, there's no discipline, there's no meaning. People in power do whatever they want to do. So there can be a sense of the world being so large and big and kind of random and lacking any kind of moral consistency or spirituality. So there's a strong invitation to actually connect ourselves with something of greater meaning and value, to allow our presence and our participation in the world to elevate and bring more love into this world. And
Mm.
that means metaphorically being willing to stand on our own two spiritual feet. We have to kind of internalize the idea that we are loved and we are cared for. So there is a source, a guide that loves us, that's with us, that's protecting us, that will support us along this journey. Otherwise, with that Mercury there, with that South Node in the fourth, we can get really stuck in there's always something wrong with me. kind of like
Mm.
an erotic self-focus in our own internal emotional state. Right? I'm not ready. I can't do it. I have all these issues. When I was a child, this happened. And so we never allow ourselves to grow up, and we miss the whole world. We miss all the gifts that we can be sharing. So with Saturn in the 10th, that really further emphasizes that theme of spiritual discipleship. I wrote a couple of things down about this one. I want to just take a look here.
And I have something I want to add in
Sure.
also.
So Pisces in the 10th is reframing our sense of what it means to be loved and guided. There is someone holding our hands to cross the street, and as unready as we feel, we will not be left alone, and it's okay to think about our life in broader social terms. We have a purpose, regardless of all the things that we might fear or think about ourselves, to open to it. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, and going along with that, what's coming to me also is maybe look at where your moon is, right? And really even think about yourself as your inner child. Like, what does that inner child need? And
Mm.
your moon can be a clue to what are your emotional needs. So then I think of that Saturn in Pisces sitting up there in your 10th house near the North Node, and well, Saturn might be over in your 11th, but anyway, generally
Yeah,
in that
yeah.
area. And you can imagine that inner wisdom self sitting with your moon self, your fourth house self, and that inner child self, your emotional body self, and giving you whatever it is you need, holding you as long as you need to be held, right? And then, like, we know that we're both parents, so we know it's like usually if you hold the child long enough, the toddler long enough, eventually they're like, all right, I don't need you, I'm good, and they
Right.
finally in
Yeah.
play, right? So it's that kind of a thing too. It's like maybe our inner child, Virgo, fourth house child, has this whatever this imprinting is of I'm not good enough or whatever, or the messiness or any of it. But if we just hold it long enough, eventually it will get sort of saturated by being held by that inner wise being of ourself.
Mm.
And then it'll feel free, it'll feel safe enough to go venture out into that 10th house world and do what it needs to do. Yeah.
And I think there's a very practical, humbling reality of, like, for many of us, this is simply learning to take more responsibility for our lives. Like,
Mm.
okay, yes, life is hard, and we have to work really hard sometimes. And it's bringing ourselves into a higher vibration and greater discipline to be available for a greater amount of light, but it's not a passive process. So, 10th house Pisces here might say, set the alarm, decide when you're going to wake up, what are your goals, what do you want to achieve. There's that existential sense of, if I have to put effort towards it, it's not spiritual. I just want it to all happen. But that doesn't allow us to really mature and crystallize and make manifest our greater dreams. We got to put forth the effort and show up. So it's learning how to discipline ourselves, show up on time, create goals, be responsible and practical with our energy. I mean, it's delusional to say green lights are an illusion or red lights are an illusion. Oh, I don't care if I'm on time, it doesn't matter. Like, that's avoiding the practical responsibilities of this world on the basis that 10th house Pisces, all these structures are an illusion anyway. The
Mm.
key is to learn how to not didn't ignore them, but also not to be overly conditioned by them, such that it's like, oh my God, the world's so big and hard. How am I ever going to get a job? How am I ever going to make it in this big world and all these things? It's to learn how to live with them with agency, with a higher purpose. All of this are the template. These are the ingredients that we're working with to grow and evolve here in this school. And some of us might find, okay, believe it or not, okay, my purpose in life is to get involved in politics. Wow, I never expected that. It's like, let go of your control of your self-image and show up. You got work to do, right? Whatever it might be, whatever that Pisces 10th, we have work to do. We have to do it. Surrender. Don't judge the form that our spiritual path takes. That's the deepest teaching of this signature.
Beautiful.
All right. I'll start us off with the next one. So South Node in Virgo in the 5th, North Node in Pisces in the 11th. Virgo in the 5th can be a very neurotic self-focus, and it can take the expression of being overly concerned with my expression, my creativity. Like, you're working on a painting or doing a project and it's like never done or it's never complete because you're internally always focusing on what can be improved. It's interesting because that archetype is a sort of reverse distorted expression of the typical fifth house narcissism. I'm so important. it's giving the self a whole lot of importance just in a negative way. I'm always thinking of myself and what I look like and how it expresses and what people think about me and comparing it to other people's works, and I'm never enough. So you're never going to, I mean, the most like articulate painter or whatever it is that you do, there's always going to be room for improvement. So Pisces in the 11th house opens up the doors to you have a greater contribution to the greater ecosystem of life. You are a star that
Yeah.
exists amongst an ecosystem of stars and galaxies reflecting the intelligence of the divine.
Yeah.
So again, kind of being that fourth quadrant energy, be a part of the world, be a part of society, be a part of the cosmos, be a part of something greater than you, and you might be collaborating with other people. That reframes all of there can be a lot of gifts and skills and talents, a lot of amazing skillfulness with Virgo in the fifth. It gives it meaning. It gives it an outlet that is not all about control and perfection and meaning for its own sake, you being important or special for its own sake. It gets one out of their own gnarled self-image. Am I important enough? Am I meaningful? Am I special? Do I have any value? Into I'm helping, I'm serving the collective. And we might find ourselves with people that are very different than our own. So Pisces in the 11th oftentimes highlights where people come together of completely different walks of life. We couldn't have imagined it. Like your next door neighbor can be a completely different kind of person, politically, racially, ethnically, whatever. Your best friend or the person that you collaborate with on the next project in your work, in your team, whatever. There's a conglomerate of very diverse energies. And it's this beautiful, compassionate way in which, someone from this star system and then someone from this star system, like 30,000 million light years away, they come together because love wants to recognize all of itself. And it celebrates and honors this divine ecosystem and diversity where more happens when we embrace more of all of us. And the deepest teaching is all of it exists inside. Like all of these different characters are within all of us. So we're just letting out more of our infinity.
Yeah. Amazing. Yes. So basically going right along with that, I had this bizarre epiphany that's like this most obvious realization as I was just teaching about the 5th, 11th house dynamic in one of my courses. And it dawned on me, oh my goodness, of course. 5th house associated with Leo, associated with the sun. Okay, the sun is, guess what? A star,
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Like literally. And then of course the 11th house associated with Aquarius, associated with stars. Okay. But
Love it.
but really it's that the sun is just happens to be the star we're the closest to, and so we think of it as totally different from all the other stars, but it's a star.
Love it.
Just like we are, right? So when I think of Virgo 5th house, it's like what the image I get is of suddenly celebrating with the literal star that's our sun, and letting, sort of
Mm.
similar to letting the magic and the fun. So when we had 5th house Pisces, we were we were saying play, play with let the divine play through us, or whatever it is. This is kind of the flip, where it's like, well, imagine being right up there with the sun, and just like letting the sun celebrate with you. And like,
Mm.
what would that feel like? Like lighten it up, like just, I don't know, just have a good time, like have fun.
I love
We
the way
are
you're
literal stardust. We are, like, that's what we are. Right? Sorry, what were you saying?
and I love the way you articulated that insight of the sun being one of many stars. It reminds me too. I love it when I meet someone or I have a session with someone where I can tangibly feel, or they just know that they're not from here, right? Like in a
Hmm.
sense, none of us are, but in a more imminent sense, there are a lot of souls that are like this. You're not very familiar with like the Earth experience. Like there's a sense, you meet them every once in a while. Whether it's like their first incarnation or they've been like mostly operating in different places and they only recently came to Earth. They're just like on a different level. They're just like working in a different paradigm. And I love that feeling of like this Earth being a gathering place for all the star beings, right?
Aw.
And like if you go back far enough, we just have these individual aspects of Creator that are reflected in these like different parts of the universe, and it's just like there's these deeper star origins these energies that we carry archetypally, and that we're all just like here in these human form, but you look deeper, kind of beyond the human, and it's like, yeah, these are some more subtle aspects of our being that we're all just kind of remembering.
Yeah,
Just love thinking of it in those ways.
me too. And
We get hooked on like black skin, white skin. It's like that's a more dense level of diversity, like on a deeper spiritual level of diversity. It's like, oh, Pleiadian. It's like far more subtle.
yeah, well, and yes, yes. And another thing that's been like this obvious realization to me is, well, we are, so people talk about being, I feel like a star. I'm a star. What do people say? I'm a star. Mm.
Start
I'm a star
being,
seed. I'm a star seed, right? Well, we literally all are star seeds, and we are all literally part of a star system. It's this star. We, if nothing else, we are all part of the system of the star we call the sun. We call it our solar system, but it's literally a star system. So,
have you seen the movie Wish, the Disney movie? You
no.
have to see it.
Ooh,
Yeah, I'll
cool.
tell you about it later. There's a song there about just like the protagonist realizing that she's a star. It's a brilliant movie. You will
Wow.
love it.
Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
definitely.
want to share one more thing on on a more imminent sense where the agents of healing happens with Pisces. You know, there is a deep healing on the planet right now in dissolving our differences, right? And it can be color of skin, it can be ethnicity, it can be region of the world where there's a lot of, oh, those people are, and there's so much of that right now. So we might find that our work in life is to bridge unconditional love, Pisces 11th, recognizing we are of the same essence, even though that are very different, and to bring people together in that sense of sameness, regardless of all the ways in which the world wants to divide us and make us seem different from one another.
Beautiful. And what I would
Fred
say that
Rogers had Pisces in the 11th. He's a great example of that.
beautiful. Yes. So speaking to a person who maybe feels this way or who does have Pisces 11th house, like maybe you're a person who really, really values dissolving difference and all of it. And so what I would say is then if you have that quality, that desire, and you have Virgo fifth house, you maybe have a really hard time recognizing that those gifts in you, right? So again, I want to, so it's like I want to be like, go dance with the sun, like go dance with all the stars, but in particular, dance, let the sun dance with you and help wake back up in you the literal light that is you, because then you can though go and be with that 11th house Piscean area, and suddenly your light is lighting it all up,
Beautiful.
right? And so it's actually you're doing a humongous service. Like you might want to be kind of self-effacing in, oh, I want to dim my own light. It's not good enough. But no, 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 no. Please, please, please let yourself be lit up, literally lit up from inside out. So then you can do what it is you want to do, which is help light up everything, right?
And that reminds me, each of this North Node, it reframes the South Node of Virgo. So that Virgo fifth is you have a function to perform. You have a lot of gifts to share that can be inspiring and very helpful. It becomes healthy and accessible when you enter into that greater collective 11th house field. It also means don't be afraid to join a community of people that you never thought you'd be a part of. You're
Mm-hmm.
called to it. Do it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Our final polarity, Virgo, South Node in the 6th, Pisces in the 12th. So this really highlights and further emphasizes the core theme of this eclipse window.
Yeah.
Virgo in the 6th corresponds to all of the things that we have control over, the things that we do to do the things that we need to do, all of the tasks and the grooming, and also where we're cultivating different skills or techniques in our life. So a lot of healing, a lot of mental energy. This would archetypally place Uranus somewhere in the 3rd house or so. Again, very, is that true? Yeah, very mental energy.
Mm-hmm. Very
So there
mental.
can be a very strong focus around control.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the core issue with this eclipse. So how we live our life, the routines, the rhythms, there might be so much that's breaking up right now that it might feel chaotic. And I think the deepest issue with the signature is it's chaotic. I have no control. I can't diagnose it. I can't quite grab it all. And so there's something wrong with me. I'm messed up. And I think Spirit wants us to learn right now that there's a plan for us and it's okay. Focus on how does love want to move through me?
Yeah.
And it really emphasizes the energy that we offer to the present moment, how we behave, how we allow life experience to be our curriculum is the most important thing. so that we don't get so much energy and stress to what doesn't work well. We're drawing ourselves in a deeper serenity and trust. And I just want to say, this is such a deep prayer and teaching to know that there are inevitably going to be experiences in life. Maybe we can, in a Virgo way, be like, oh, it's going to happen, or like the predictability of what's difficult and hard, where we just sort of expect life to be a difficult, challenging, repetitive experience, to find ourselves meeting that, but to have these little quiet internal moments of, I am open to this moment being different. I am open and available to learn here how to be the love that I am. Even though I don't understand, that's exactly why I'm open to learn, because I don't understand. The weird thing about Virgo is like, we think because we can't do it that we're not equipped to start. Like, well, I can't touch my toes, so I won't do yoga. Where it's like, well, that's the point. But we get stuck on that because we're so focused on the negativity. This allows for so much organization and clarity to happen gradually and in time, step by step, slowly, when we're not giving so much false meaning to all of the details.
Yeah. Yeah. And so with this one, I would say please go listen to the interview I did with Jude Curran,
Mm.
because what comes to me with this is it's like you were saying, it's like double signature of, you can be really focused on yourself as earth versus light, right? Like, I'm here and I'm doing the earth stuff and it feels XYZ way. And I know I'm reaching for like releasing, and I know I'm the divine, but how in the heck do I bridge it? And because there's such a mental component, I wonder for some of you that maybe going and actually hearing the literal science behind what light
Uh,
actually
uh,
is might help you let it go, right? And
mm,
really get it. Well, it already is, like, it already is bridged. The South Node already is bridging your sixth house Virgo with your Pisces 12th house. Like, it's already done. There isn't even actually a bridge to be happening because it's already bridged. You are light as earth. That is literally who you are. It's just a remembering of that reality. So that's just one thing I offer, is go listen
I
to
love
that
that.
video. Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
in the description below.
Mhm.
So, it reminds me, this Virgo is alive. I mean, everyone is going to have transiting Mercury in Virgo right now. So it's like, in the context of this eclipse, it's a very big transformation, a transmutation of this Mercury Virgo energy. So I think this particular signature strongly speaks to the principle of effortless doing. There might be a lot of Virgo sixth house things to do, a
Yeah.
big list of like, I gotta fix this and do this, and that might be there for us. What is it like to allow it? Like, I know what it's like for me on certain work days where it's like everything happens and it's like effortless, versus I'm like working really hard and nothing gets accomplished.
Mhm.
There's a state of alignment with how the flow wants to go, not how we're pushing it. It's productive. It's just less controlling and pushy, where it feels like an effortless unfolding. When I was, contemplating this before our meeting, I thought of this one quote from the Tao Te Ching, which is, the Tao does nothing and leaves nothing undone,
Exactly.
versus the opposite, doing a lot, but nothing gets completed.
Yeah.
So I think it's a really great meditation to close this analysis of this eclipse to the 12 houses. Anything you want to add to this one polarity?
No, I would just echo what you said by just the sentence I often say, which is, let the light lead the way, literally.
Mm-hmm.
Let it go. Like, the light knows the way, the divine knows the way, the part of us as the divine already knows the way. It's already done. It's already right here. And yeah.
There's a song, I don't know who wrote it, but it's like, the way he knows, the way he knows, the way
Mhm.
he knows, the way, something like that.
I love that song. Yeah.
This sixth house can highlight an inadequacy. I can't let go because I'm not enough. And this is true for every signature. I can't let go because I'm not enough. And there are things that need to happen. That Virgo Mercury will prove, no, but there are things that I got to do. How could I let go? That's the point. Let the way lead the way to reframe. There's a perspective beyond what we can grasp when we shift more to the holistic, loving, gentle, caring, broad, inclusive perspective of Pisces itself.
Yeah.
Martha, I had bad news. We weren't recording.
What? Are you serious?
No, I'm just joking.
Okay.
About an hour ago, I'm like, oh, I want to do that. And I decided that I'll wait until the end, just
That
to
was
like
very
really
bad.
bring out the Virgo Pisces imperfection. Oh, we recorded, and I just wanted to say that.
Well, my Virgo moon with my Pisces Mercury and Sun are fine with all that. So let's go. All good.
I figured you would be.
Wow.
In my
Yeah,
mind, it was something I was just looking forward to. Okay.
really
Martha,
funny.
thank you so much for sharing this. And by the way, I reached out today with this feeling to do this, and you were like, yes. And we just jumped on it together, and I really appreciate that. Thank you all so much for watching. Once again, check out the description to learn more about Martha and her work, and as well as mine. And until next time, bye.